Hello there. First of all, it's my pleasure to be here today with my colleague Karim Abassi and welcome you for this event in blockchain. So blockchain is spreading its influence beyond fields such as finance, energy, industrial application, and of course, healthcare. My name is Lucas Perez. I'm an expert and author in innovative healthcare solutions. I'm the French representative for the EIT Health Alumni, which is a huge network of 2,000 members in Europe and beyond the world. What is EIT Health Alumni? EIT Health Alumni Network is a multidisciplinary community of innovators building the future of healthcare in Europe and beyond. In the network, you can participate in trainings of your choice, win free ticket to the main health summits in Europe, join groups on topics of your interest, like our event today, and you can also become a coach for fellow alumni, receive exclusive jobs, internship opportunities from the EIT Health partners, or also design your own event in international teams. Today, we are going to talk about blockchain and its application in the healthcare sector. In this event, we want to take a deep dive into this concept. And with my fantastic speaker, Karim, we will explore various insightful data sets and practical examples of what blockchain could solve in the healthcare sector through data management, telemedicine, and clinical trial. And at the end of this webinar, you will have the opportunity to ask us some questions. So, and in order to do effectively, please to put your question into the chat and we will answer you during this Q&A session then. So we will now go to this promising and exciting technology. How many people heard about the word blockchain and its blurry frontier with cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin? Every day, through the media, articles, or just people, we hear the term blockchain, we hear the term Bitcoin, which is adopted by state, like recently the state of Salvador, and also C, which is an amazing financial asset. But what does this buzzword really mean, especially in the field of healthcare? Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are just a part of blockchain. Blockchain is an architecture for Bitcoin, for all the cryptocurrencies, but for many services in healthcare, especially in healthcare. And Bitcoin is just one example of what blockchain could produce, no more, no less. And what are the benefits of this technology and how can we unlock its true potential? So let me introduce what is blockchain. And before to explain what is blockchain, I just want to give you some dates about blockchain, about its history. So in 1991, an article called How to Timestamp a Digital Document was written by Stuart Haber and Scott Stortena, two researchers in IT and cryptography. And this is the beginning of the blockchain, of the spirit of blockchain. And in 2008, a mysterious man named Satoshi Nakamoto, or maybe a group of men, released a white paper explaining a new fully decentralized payment system on peer-to-peer, as we know as Bitcoin. So what is it? What is Bitcoin? What is blockchain? Blockchain is an IT protocol offering a register of timestamp methods through chain blocks by consensus into a network without a third-party intermediary with respect to the transfer of value, assets, or data between two parties. Okay, you're right, it's maybe a complex definition. And to illustrate what is the blockchain, I think that this illustration could suit very well. Blockchain is like a large book. And it's not me saying that, it's a French mathematician named Jean-Paul Delahaye. And Jean-Paul Delahaye said that blockchain is a large book that everyone could read easily and freely, in which everyone can write but not erase the data in this register, in this book. It's indestructible. So, as you maybe know, Bitcoin is just one example. And behind the Bitcoin, you have all this architecture that we call blockchain. So the case of Bitcoin is interesting because Bitcoin is this famous digital currencies, a decentralized currency without a central authority like a central bank, based on the first blockchain created and developed in 2008. And the word decentralization is very important to understand what is blockchain. Bitcoin is based on a permissionless blockchain, that is a blockchain without restriction of access, made up of a network of public servers or nodes. It's a huge network, not just a database. So there are three types of blockchain. The first is the permission blockchain, with 40% of project design like that. You have then the permissionless blockchain, and you have also a mix between permission and permissionless blockchain. And all this blockchain brings us some transparency, anonymity, and cost efficiency in the process. So what are the benefits of blockchain-based systems? So let me show you through this example, clinical trial, what blockchain could produce. The first is data integrity. So with blockchain, you have the possibility to look at record years after the fact and know that the data that is held in that block of that chain has full integrity. And when it comes to regulatory process, regulation like the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, is very important. Because, for example, GDPR requires to prove that the consent, the user or patient consent, was given, and blockchain makes that things possible. The other point is decentralization. In tomorrow's world, clinical trials could be run in a patient's home and retain strong governance mechanisms. And so whether you are in a rural Africa, India, or Latin America, or in a major hospital in New York, Paris, or Berlin, you should be able to achieve similar scientific results on the same level of data integrity. So you maybe understand that healthcare is an amazing land for the development of blockchain. Healthcare is in the top 5 industries behind financial services, the fintech sector, industrial products and manufacturing, energy and utilities. And healthcare could be seen as a leader in the field of blockchain, in the blockchain industry. So let me show you 3 projects interesting in blockchain. The first project is Exercial Pass Wallet, provided by the state of New York. This is a sort of vaccine passport to verify the health state of the people citizens living in the state of New York. And into this vaccine passport, you have test result, you have vaccination register, also you have a temperature monitoring. So, and it covers the health state of the people, of the users using this app or using just a paper. So it could be digital or paper, and it stores the proof of COVID-19 vaccination. And no additional data is captured, tracked, or shared. And this blockchain has been developed from the private company IBM for a public entity such as the state of New York. So another project is Doc.com, make free telemedicine for everyone. Doc.com is an American-Mexican company providing a platform that connects any patient with a doctor through video telemedicine for free. They also have a service, a veterinary service for animals as well. And what is the business model of Doc.com? So all the data are non-identifiable patient information that can be seen by health organization through the blockchain. And this data can be analyzed for new insight and for new missions or activities for these organizations. And through this blockchain, you have a universal and utility token, a token to serve to pay some healthcare and healthcare services. And its token, its medical token currencies, the MTC, used as a means of payment toward insurance company or public organization delivering healthcare services. The third project is Embleema, for the patient, for the research. Embleema is an American-French company providing a platform allowing patient to share his personal data to pharma and public entities. So what is the interest for the pharma industry? For the pharma industry, there is this interesting thing that is pharmacovigilance. The pharma industry could improve our pharmacovigilance process in order to accelerate clinical trial thanks to the real-world data. And what is the real-world data? The real-world data is this data from the patient home. For example, the patient use connected devices measuring his quality of sleep, and these data could be sent to the pharmaceutical industry or another public entities to create new services, new therapies, from example. And with the real world data, you have a sort of continuum from the home from the patient home to the pharma industry, to the state, for example. And this continuum is very important in the flow, in the data flow. And for the patient, you have also a counterparty. The patient gets some points that can be redeemed for reward. And this reward are, for example, healthcare services or another services in terms of insurance, for example. And regarding the regulation, it's important to say that the patient consent is securely stored on the blockchain. So blockchain has a promising futures. Blockchain is empowering the user patients through digital health solution with this amazing trend about real world data. And blockchain is also providing reliable data, especially for clinical trial, but also digital health solution and drug traceability. But there are few barriers when it comes to blockchain. So the first is an irrelevant regulatory environment with blockchain technology. So there is a sort of paradox between blockchain and some regulation like the GDPR, because the GDPR says you have, as a European citizen, the right to be forgotten. Your data could be forgotten for all your life. And the blockchain, the nature of blockchain is the fact that the data is immortalized in the blockchain, and it could be a divergence with the right to be forgotten required by the GDPR. You have also separate blockchain not working together, and you have also a risk of attacks and frauds. So thank you for your attention. Thank you all. And now I'm giving the floor to my colleague, Karim Abassi, CEO of Tracify. Thank you all.
Thank you, Luca. Hi, everyone. I will share my presentation. Do you see my full screen?
Yes. Not yet.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's better. Yeah. Karim.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Luca, for this presentation and for some information, some concerns regarding blockchain in health. Also, it's a quite important and interesting technology to address, as it is addressed in financial, in supply, and so on industry. And we all think that blockchain has its place in the health. For my part, I am Karim Abassi. I am the CEO and co-founder of Tracify. Tracify is a French startup located in Paris, and we try to improve the current health of a patient with chronic disease, especially when they have to collaborate to go to the hospital, and many things, many concerns for those patients. So we want to address them towards Tracify. Let's start about blockchain. As said previously, Luca, blockchain is a technology that allows information to be stored and transmitted without a central control body. This is the main value proposition of a blockchain, if I can say that. And as you say previously, also, Luca, it's like a large database that stores the history of all exchanges between its users since its creation until now. So you talk about the French mathematician Jean-Paul Delahaye. Yes, we can write a book, we can complete a book, but we cannot modify or erase what is written. And it's very, very important in healthcare environments regarding clinical trial, and we will talk about in a few minutes. Let's talk about three main use cases of blockchain. Of course, if for the transfer of assets, shares, action, or everyone. For traceability of assets and product, especially for drugs, medicine, active ingredients, and so on. To automatically perform contract called smart contract, so without a human intervention to proceed something to do without human control. let's continue about the 4 key features of blockchain which can be applied to healthcare environment. Decentralization, of course, this is the main key feature about blockchain. Transparency, and this is very, very important regarding integrity of data, sharing information to be sure that information shared between patients, doctor, CRO, pharmaceutical industry are very transparent. Immutability, of course, and integrity, and the last point, the reliability. What are the challenges for the current healthcare system? First of all, there is a huge challenge regarding drug traceability and counterfeit drugs. We're going to address this point with supply chain. The second one is the data segmentation and all the data storage. And the third point I want to address with you is healthcare security. You talk about clinical trial, and I will you complete what you said previously, Luca, and how blockchain can solve healthcare issues. Of course, when you talk about blockchain, we talk about interoperability, especially in the hospital environment where many software are used to monitor data patient, to monitor imagery, to monitor blood tests, and so on. Blockchain can solve healthcare issues regarding data integrity. Many huge data are manipulated every day by everyone in the healthcare, so it's necessary to be sure that data is very integrated. Security, of course. Let's talk about maintenance cost. The point dedicated to the maintenance cost is about how can blockchain reduce the cost due to the expenses in the healthcare system. When a pharmaceutical company or CRO is doing a clinical trial, it's necessary to have many information regarding patients who can be included in clinical trials. So if blockchain can screen which patient can enter or not in a clinical trial, it can reduce cost about those clinical trials. And of course, regarding the permissionless universal access, you can be in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in India. It's very, very exciting to know that the information is accessible wherever you are. Let's talk about the traceability. Some figures to set the context. 1 in 10 medicines is counterfeited worldwide, and this ratio can be higher in Africa, where the World Health Organization gives that approximately 7 in 10 medicine are counterfeited in Africa. The consequences is death. 800,000 deaths due to the use of counterfeited drugs worldwide per year, including 100,000 deaths in Africa, and approximately 10 to 15% of fake medicine in circulation worldwide. That is regarding counterfeit. But regarding traceability, there is also issues regarding shipping. The waves have given some figures regarding the total cost from product lost by temperature deviation by shipping. You see the huge amount, 35 billion US dollars per year are lost to temperature deviation. 28% of pharmaceutical sales are for temperature control products. So it's very important. We are talking about vaccination. We are talking about how Pfizer, Moderna have to challenge the temperature of the COVID-19 vaccine. This is a challenge for those companies. And 10.4 of vaccine reach their destination degrading because of incorrect shipping. And the question is how blockchain can solve the shipping issues, and how can blockchain can solve the counterfeited drugs. Facing rising counterfeiting, regulatory changes, and the cold chain logistical, the pharmaceutical company faces a huge array of challenges. Of course, pharma manufacturers need visibility in a complex and global supply chain. When you think about the active ingredient for drugs, of course, pharma manufacturers have to know if the active ingredients will be put in the drug are true or fake. And blockchain technology can help the serialization implementation. Serialization is the fact of coding drugs from the manufacturer until the hospital or the local pharmacy. For example, we can have serialization with a number, which is example 1, 2, 3. We can imagine that the next drug will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blockchain technology can help to change this number to be sure that the product will be delivered in a hospital or in a local pharmacy if the good product is not a fake product. And by providing transparency and enabling trust, blockchain can solve drug counterfeit by providing time, stamped and immutable transaction across the supply chain. And we talked about previously, Luca, regarding the time-stamped necessity for all the stage from manufacturing to distribution of drugs. And thus, all is for the sole benefit of health and patient who are at the end of the chain, if I can say that. Next point regarding patient data management. Many varied issues and health concerns we talked about previously. Patient data management is harder and harder because there are so many information regarding patient. And at the moment, it's quite impossible to create a structure or a use in a common treatment strategy. Because there is a lack of information for physicians. Physicians have to know if the drug given to the patient A can work to the patient B with the same disease. And at the moment, there is no common silo where information can be stored with a fair and a true asset. And the storage of patient data are at the moment unsafe. We can consider that the storage of patient at the moment are unsafe, even if many pharmaceutical industry, hospital, produce or improve their data storage. And also, what is, I think, very important, so that doctors share many information, and they can think that they share information in a secure way. But the question is, information which is circulating, does this information circulate in a secure way? And blockchain can make thinking about the way to secure, the way to share information and to store patient data in a safe way. So blockchain provide a good way to handle patient data management, of course. Blockchain offer the structured way to store data which can be assessed by the right professional at the right time for the right reasons. And blockchain can store patient data and be kept accessible to the patient and the doctor. And patient, what is, I think, new regarding the blockchain it has, so patient can control and share their data if they want. At the moment, we consider that the power is given to physicians, to pharmaceutical industry, to institutions who collect the data. The blockchain can give the opportunity to patients to keep back the control of their data, and they can share or no their data with the institution. And can to improve the healthcare research and system by sharing information, by sharing data regarding health. A few words about clinical trials. Clinical trials produce tons of data, of course, statistics, reports, survey, medical imagery, blood test, and so on. And of course, there is a relevant risk of fraud due to data manipulation, so hidden result. This is a key problem with the clinical trials. We can talk about fraud, but the fraud can be sometimes breaches to good clinical practices. A result can be hidden, and information can be erased at the moment in a clinical trial, and those acts can have so many bad impacts for the continuing of the clinical trial. And the question is, blockchain can can resolve this problem. Another point regarding clinical trials are the non-sharing of clinical information in amount of a clinical trial regarding the research protocol, hypotheses before the clinical trials start, data storage method, and so on. And the blockchain can act as the medium to facilitate the clinical trials. Because blockchain can provide data integrity, as I said previously, and this is a kind of proof of the authenticity of the document, proof of the authenticity of the data, and about the result, about the patient who are involved in clinical trial. And no data can be modified without an authorized access for patients, for doctors, and for pharmaceutical industry. So blockchain, if I want to resume this point, can act as a system of proof of existence, which means that the data is true and can be verified. But what are the obstacles to its use in Earth? identify projects with a real use for blockchain, improve the user experience, legal boundaries, and define the business model for the last. First of all, identify projects with a real use for blockchain. So many projects in the health sector, but a few large-scale applications are emerging at the moment. Many stay at a proof of concept, and it's very difficult for them to scale for larger. And the players have a limited understanding of the technology and what it can do with blockchain. Many use cases remain at a theoretical step and do not go to the production, to the industrialization step. And economic, institutional, and healthcare actors are not looking for blockchain projects because at the moment, and it's my opinion, the blockchain is not as attractive as in artificial intelligence, and we can talk about in a few minutes if you want. It's necessary to improve user experience. For the patient, it's very difficult to give his consent in clinical trials with blockchain technology. For a patient, for example, it's still complex to open a wallet and make payment or to receive payments using a token. And successfully combine extremely flexible and fairly painless path design and management as close as possible to the technology. Legal limits, a few words. Last year, in its annual report, the CNIL is a French Commission for Data Protection, pointed out that blockchain is not incompatible with the GDPR. A question of the rights to be forgotten, as you said previously, Luca, whereas what is recorded in the blockchain cannot be erased. That is a nonsense regarding the GDPR. And the question about the supervision of transfer, so in a private blockchain, boundaries and rules are possible, are known, and everyone knows those boundaries and rules. But what are the consequences in a public blockchain? How to manage those transfer of data when the data leaves European Union, for example? And the last point is to define the business model. The question of the business model is not stable for the moment. And because the whole ecosystem, healthcare blockchain ecosystem is being structured. There are new modes of collaboration which are explored, and new solutions will probably emerge before a long time. But the question, and you talked about Embleema previously, Luca, how can we monetize health data? How much to pay the patient who owns health data? That are many, many questions that blockchain has to address to stabilize, to define the business model using this technology. To conclude and to summarize, the demand for revolution in technology or any sector is necessary, and blockchain has to play its role in this revolution. The healthcare industry also needs to make the most of the changes and equip itself with the best possible services and the solution it can provide. And to conclude, blockchain can change how physicians access patients' data, how clinical research will take place, and other aspects of the healthcare ecosystem. So thank you for your attention, and I'm open to answer your question with Luca. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Karim, for the presentation, for this exciting presentation. You had an interesting insight about the user design and the way blockchains work. So it was very interesting to understand what blockchain brings also for the pharmaceutical industry, and it was very interesting. So we had a question about Embleema, and you evoke Embleema in your presentation as well. So the questions from an anonymous spectator participant is: when pharma collects patient data through Embleema, how does the regulatory bodies can ensure the data is not used in a biased way in trials? And he said, for example, some pharma companies tend to change surrogate and results during the trial. And if they reserve data as the clinical trial is going, they may tend to change the clinical trial design, which is should not regulatory wise allowed. And if you want to ensure, I can answer this question too. So if you want to start, Karim, and after I will give my answer.
Okay, thank you for the question. Effectively, that is the main issue and the main question regarding where are collected and how can Embleema manage or not data for the patient. Robert Chu, who is the CEO of Embleema, said that at the moment in the blockchain there is a consent of the patient, the information regarding the patient, but at the moment he said also that data regarding health are not stored in the blockchain. That is the first information he gives, and this is the reason why this company is for the moment in the United States territory and not yet in Europe, even if they are talking with many hospitals to keep data and to manage their data. But this is a huge question. We talk about Embleema, but we can talk about the data storage or extract from clinical trial, because without, if we put apart a blockchain, the question remains for the all data regarding patient involved in clinical trial. Where are stored clinical data at the moment? And how can we show that the patient A and the patient B, those data will not be sold to a company, to a state, for example, without the agreement of the patient? This is a huge question. If you want to complete, Luca, let's go. Of course.
Yeah, yes. So thank you, Karim. I would like to add that Embleema is FDA approved. Their solution is FDA approved, and so the Food Drug Administration is an American administration responsible for the protection of the public health in US. And regarding the fact that Embleema solution is FDA approved, it makes the solution safe for the patient, and the study should be respect. And so Embleema, as I said, provides a private blockchain, and it's important to know that if the blockchain is private, access to the blockchain are secured, and it's an important thing. And FDA provides a sort of data management control a priori before the data is sent to another party. And it's important to understand that. FDA has a lot of process, the fact that the company has to respect the study data standards, resources, for example, all the standards, and so clinical and non-clinical study data have to be respect in terms of exchange. And if the FDA, if the solution is FDA approved, it proves that there is a validation before Embleema sent this information. So my answer will be just see this approval, this certification, and it answered the questions about the way Embleema and the regulatory body control the secure process of the data management.
And this is a main challenge.
Yeah. And yes, because there is often this fear about the data management, about the monetization of the data. So it's a huge topic. Why my data is used for example, know my state of health? Is it for me? Is it for an insurance company? Is it for the development of a therapy? And all these questions are often important for the patient, for the user patient, and it's important to understand that behind the scene you have a lot of processes of standards controlling the data management and the way they use the data.
And to complete also regarding this question, I want to add that the consensus of the blockchain is possible regarding the fact that all the users, all the stakeholders involved in the blockchain have to validate information. So if there is a problem, a fraud with a data, it's possible to go to the actor who has done the fraud regarding patient information. So it's very important to add that there is a large consensus about the validation of each block, which is the fundamental of the where the blockchain works.
Yeah, exactly, Karim. And through this consensus of nodes, the network will be more secure. So yes, there is a risk. There is a risk of fraud, not especially regarding the blockchain, but regarding the data information after it's generating by the blockchain. So it's very difficult to kill the blockchain. It's very difficult, but it's easier to, for example, to hack the data after its validation, after its production from the blockchain. And it's important to see the blockchain and the ecosystem, the periphery around the blockchain, all the elements that are around the blockchains. It's important to understand such a question as security, management, and other points. So I think we could finish with this conference. It was very interesting to understand and to explain the basics of blockchain through this promising field, the field of healthcare. So thank you, Karim, for the intervention. Thank you, Robin. Thank you to the EIT Health Alumni Board organizing this event, and we hope to see you again through another event. Thank you all, and yes, thank you, the network. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you all.